Hey, what's up, VC? It's me, yours truly. I'm back to do a quick video to Chad's first VC contest. The random 1369, I think is his username, right? Yeah, that's his username. He's doing his first VC contest, and I saw his video last night. Really simple question. Well, simple question, but when I start to go actually pull things to give an answer, it became a little more complex. But I wanted to make sure I had a chance to jump in and do a response, congratulate him on his subs, and congratulate him on doing his first VC contest. So let me kind of jump right in and share with you some of the things that I pulled out. I'm gonna go through these kind of quick too, so I don't take up a ton of time. Oh, maybe I'll explain what he was looking for. He was kind of sharing with us that his main passion and love within music kind of revolves around hard rock and metal, and that accounts for a good chunk of his collection. And he's ventured out into other things, but he kind of had this video idea of, let me ask people maybe to share things that are maybe outside of the hard rock and heavy metal genres that might influence me to want to try looking at something different. So that's what I did. Pulled some things, gonna share it with him, and as always, let me know what you think. I might actually make two videos depending on, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I didn't pull, so. But anyway, let me run through these kind of quick and not take up too much time. Ramsey Lewis, there's a cover for you. Salongo, there's the name of this album. This is kind of funk jazz. You know, if you like that stuff that Herbie Hancock was doing later on in his career when he kind of was away from Miles and everything and started getting into more of his funk electric type of stuff. If you like that, you'll love this album. It's very much the same kind of thing. Ladysmith Black Mambazo, one of my favorite African groups without question. Depending on what stage, they have different numbers of people in the band, but typically it's about 10 of them. I shouldn't say band, they're a group because they do everything a cappella. There's no instruments or anything. Very, very awesome stuff, incredible harmonies. You probably already know them in the sense of, if you have heard Paul Simon's Graceland, that song, or if you've heard Diamonds on the Soles of My Shoes by Paul Simon, those were pretty big albums, or big hits. All of those African vocals in the back was Ladysmith Black Mambazo. As well as a number of years ago, those Lifesaver commercials with the Rain, Rain, Rain song, that was Ladysmith Black Mambazo singing those as well. So I actually saw them in concert one time, and it was, I mean, absolutely fabulous. Buena Vista Club, Social Club, Buena Vista Social Club, I'm sorry. This is an album that I've had playing in the background of a couple of videos that I've done, and every time I've done that, I've got all kind of comments about it. And it really is a fantastic album. And I don't even know the history on it that well. I think they're Cuban descent for the most part in terms of the music and everything, but you know, just imagine a bunch of guys just kind of getting together and just jamming, and I mean, just really, really good stuff. You almost have to just kind of sit back and take a listen to it to really get a feel for just how great it is. But that's one I would highly recommend on the world music side. Nico's Chelsea Girl. Now, you might know her from the album Velvet Underground and Nico, that kind of monotone in a world all of her own. Well, here's an entire album of it. So that might be one to check out. I think it's kind of interesting, kind of different. Cowboy Junkies, a group that I don't like particularly that much as far as their views on a lot of things, but with their music, pretty darn solid, and this is probably their best work in my opinion, which is the Trinity Sessions. Just kind of a live, somewhat kind of mellow, almost acoustic kind of feel to the album, but they do an absolute fantastic kind of soft acoustic-y type version of Lou Reed Velvet Underground, their Sweet Jane, that it's just a song that's darn near perfection. So I highly recommend at least checking out that song off this album. Another group that I've been getting into a lot lately, Neon Indians. I've been playing this a lot in my car, my iPod lately. Here we're kind of going more kind of modern day synth pop type stuff. and the song Polish Girl and Hex Girlfriend. I listen to those songs all the time. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So another album I definitely recommend kind of checking out. Now getting into somewhat country here, you have Lucinda Williams, kind of old school country with a modern day feel. She almost takes old school country and mixes it with a little more modern day pop, but not to the degree of like a Taylor Swift or something like that, which is pretty much all pop now. It's not country at all. But she definitely keeps that old school feel in it. Lucinda Williams is the artist I've grown to love over the past few years. All her albums are pretty much great, but this is probably my favorite by her, which is West. But again, even just to check out a few songs like Words, Where's My Love, Are You Alright, and Fruits of My Labor off of her other album. Great tracks. Another one I'll pull up here, kind of staying on the country side of things, although now we're probably getting a little more old-timey bluegrass, folky type music, country as well. But Jillian Welch is another artist I've grown to love over the past few years. If you've seen the movie or heard the soundtrack, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, that'll give you a pretty good representation of what to expect from her. Matter of fact, she did a number of the tracks on Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So great stuff there. Then I also pulled out Alison Krauss and Union Station, and kind of the exact same thing. Alison Krauss also did some tracks on the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack. Again, kind of that folky, bluegrass, country type of stuff, but really good stuff. Just kind of back to basics, real kind of music. So really like it a lot. Matter of fact, Krauss and Jillian Welch did one or two songs together on the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack. So maybe just check out the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack and you'll get a good feel for all of this. I'm not a huge fan of the dance and techno genre. I have a few things here and there, but it's not a big chunk of my collection. But one of the bands I do like in that genre is Stylophonic, Man Music Technology. My favorite song off of this album would be Bizarre Mind. So if you want to kind of check them out and get a feel for what they're like, that's definitely the song I would recommend. That's an awesome 3-LP set. Moving towards a little jazz with a metal feel, as I like to put it. Sunra is a strange dude, definitely puts out some weird stuff, to say the least. This is called Strange Strings. Best way to describe this album, imagine like 7 or 8 people from a big orchestra show up for a show. They show up early. They all get in a room and just start kind of warming up and tuning their instruments. They're not playing the same thing, but all just kind of tuning, warming up, all that stuff. And someone just stuck a mic in the middle of that and recorded it. That's Strange Strings. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what that Sunra is like. That might be a little different than other things. Elliott Smith was another one I pulled out here. If you have seen the movie with Stupid Affleck, can't stand that guy, but I loved him in Good Will Hunting. He was fabulous in that movie. All of them were. But a number of songs off of this album were in Good Will Hunting. So my favorite off of this is Angelus, but again, just kind of a sad way to describe it, but it just kind of sounds like a lonely guy sitting in the corner strumming on his guitar, too scared to really belt out a vocal. That's the sound and feel that you get from the album. But some really good tracks on here too, though. I mean, a very good album. Now, to kind of share a bit of hip-hop too, I know you said that's one area you don't have a lot of. One of the bands I would recommend kind of starting with is A Tribe Called Quest. This is the anthology, kind of a 2-LP greatest hits. Now, the reason I recommend Tribe Called Quest, this is one of the earlier groups in hip-hop that really approached hip-hop from an art form perspective. It wasn't just about, it wasn't really almost at all about, look at my car, look at her ass, look how much money I got, look at my rims, look at my goal. I mean, that by far was not the idiotic theme trapped in anything that A Tribe Called Quest did. This was truly a group that was performing. They were creative in terms of their beats, their vocal deliveries, the way they kind of created each one of themselves as characters, so to speak. Truly the more art form side of hip-hop music. And that's why I would kind of recommend them as an initial one to check out. Songs like Check the Rhymes, Bonita Applebaum, Can I Kick It, Award Tour, all those fabulous songs. Another true representation of what hip-hop is supposed to be like, Boogie Down Productions, also known as KRS-One. This is kind of, again, early hip-hop when it was true to what it was supposed to be. Beats and MCing, you know, kind of plain and simple. Again, we're not dealing with the cars and how many girls I screwed and all that kind of crap. You know, even to say that one of the big songs off of this album was a song called The Bridge Is Over, which was kind of KRS-One's, it was his bashing song towards some other MCs at the time, you know, kind of like Queens versus the Bronx and that type of stuff. And even then, when you go back and listen to that song, it's still nowhere near as vile and confrontational and, you know, shoot 'em up, I'll kill you and all this other kind of crap that you hear today. Even inside of their bashing back and forth songs, there was still a level of respect within the art form that was carried with it. So again, great album to check out if you're not familiar with it. And again, start with the song The Bridge Is Over. DLC, another early hip-hop album, 1989, I would recommend. This kind of has the beats and the vocal delivery somewhat of modern-day hip-hop, but still with some of the kind of subject matter and approach of old-school hip-hop. It wasn't a shoot-em-up, bang-bang type of album. What's been playing in the background? Ride. As you can kind of hear, you know, 1990, kind of that late 80s, early 90s, I don't know what to call it, alternative with a little synth mixed in and a few other things, but really cool album. Highly recommend checking that one out. On the same lines with Jesus and the Mary Chain, Psycho Candy, another fabulous album that kind of falls on the same lines what I was describing about Ride. Really great album. Oh, and by the way, the name of this Ride album is Nowhere. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. You might already know this because this really falls on the hard rock side, but in case you haven't seen this group before, Highway Robbery. That early, or that, you know, I think 1972, that really hard classic rock that, you know, one of those groups that probably is not that well known, but you can kind of hear in their sound, you know, helped ventured in some of the metal stuff that took place. This is one of the groups that you could already see was kind of riding that wave. So really great stuff if you happen to not be familiar with them. Last two, New Order. Probably familiar with them, I'm sure. The group's pretty hard to miss whether you're into them or not. But yeah, again, one of those groups just has that perfect mixture between pop, dance, and I don't know, they just bring it all together in a very awesome way. You know, Bizarre Love Triangle, Blue Monday, what was the other one that's I love so much on this? True Faith. I mean, just fantastic dance groove type tracks. Awesome group. And then kind of going towards the classical side, Conan the Barbarian soundtrack, which is really composed by Basil Polydorus. Awesome composer, that great, just kind of, you know, powerful, you know, medieval type of orchestral music. And then I'll finish it up with Albinoni here. It's kind of some classical that I love. And again, this is more of the kind of Middle Ages type of string music and so forth. So there you go. There's a few of my picks. I will probably be back to do another video pretty soon, but hope you enjoy, and congratulations again on your first contest. All right, take care, my friend.